everyone, I'm Tejas Sidnal, founder of Carbon Craft Design. We are looking to solve this huge problem of carbon emissions and the PM particles associated to it, which is what is there in your lungs and my lungs at the moment while we are breathing. More than 7 million people die due to air pollution every year. To solve this problem, we at Carbon Craft Design sell carbon tiles made by upcycled carbon emissions from factories to high-end residential customers via architects at $29 per square meter. With respect to our beachhead market, we started to look at 5 major cities in India where the top architects and interior design studios are housed. We were able to reach out to more than 1,000 architects at the moment. Carbon tile, with respect to its handcrafted process and the look and feel, is similar to a terrazzo tile market, which is about $7 million with our beachhead market, catering to about 250,000 square meters. Its Indian market is 10 times of its beachhead market, and the global market is somewhere about 80 to 100 times of that, taking it to 200 million square meters. Our customers buy our tiles because we are 20% cheaper than the other designer tiles in India. They also buy it because it's the first carbon negative interior furnishing tile in India. Its other advantages include it's a handcrafted process which has a certain social impact associated to it. So our CVP is, it is cheaper, environmental friendly, and socially inclusive, which has the power of craft against climate change. So how is the product really made? It has two parts to it. The first is from how and where do we get our carbon emissions, and the second is how do we manufacture this. We collect our carbon from various pyrolysis factories which would have otherwise ended up in landfills, polluting our soil and water bodies, or in the air, which is what you and me are breathing at the moment. We then take this raw material and work with a 200-year-old craft in Gujarat, which is the second largest tile manufacturing hub in the world. We can then make any plain, pattern, or customizable design completely. We were able to speak to more than 50 architects and 10 distributors to understand the entire tile market in India and globally. We had assumed that people wanted to buy an eco-friendly tile, but we soon realized they wanted to understand from where the tile comes and the story and the look and feel around it. With the handcrafted process, it has a certain mass producibility to it, which is what makes it a niche market segment to start with, but we also realize that it has a larger market for exports. We are looking to capture about 4% of the market share in our beachhead market, while we're looking at 100 customers with each 100 square meters each, which takes our deployment to somewhere about 10,000 square meters, with a 25% margin on our tiles, which takes our profits to somewhere about $72,000. If we are able to increase the number of people we are able to reach and reduce the cost on upcycling carbon emissions, we will be able to scale our operations and look at larger profits. The handcrafting and scalability factor to it has a certain association with each other. If we are able to mechanize the plain tiles, we will be able to reduce the price to half, and then we'll be able to tap into a $100 billion market globally. Its environmental impact is divided in two parts. The first one is the carbon emissions, and the second one is the carbon upcycling to it. Carbon tile emits somewhere about 25 kgs of CO2 per square meter, which is very similar to a natural stone. But if you look at a ceramic tile and a vitrified tile, it emits 3 times of what a carbon tile emits, while carbon tile is able to upcycle 10 times of what it really emits. With that, we will be able to prevent 2,500 tons of CO2 emissions just in the beachhead market alone. We are a team of experts with more than 10 years of experience in the field of architectural design, operational supply chain, engineering, and designing. We want to make sustainability affordable, build a $10 million company by 2025, and in the future, build an entire building out of carbon emissions. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Carbon Craft Design. Jury members, how do you look upon this presentation? Yes, Edward.
Hi, everyone.
Sorry, yeah. So in terms of scale, you said that this will be in India. I'm just wondering about scaling it outside India and how scalable is it, and especially in regards to the supply chain of the carbon emissions.
Right now, while we are working with one factory, they have somewhere about 500 tons of carbon. That's what comes out of one factory. There are about 500 factories just in India at the moment. In terms of scalability, we are looking at two parts. One is if we can mechanize the plain tiles, which is what we feel that we'll be able to reduce the cost by already half, and then we'll be able to tap into $100 billion market with that. Right now, the cost is higher just because it's handcrafted and the upcycling costs around it.
Next question, please, Shloka.
Hi, great innovation. I love the air pollution link as well. And I just wanted to understand a little bit more about that. So does Airing actually process air pollution from India? I mean, how does it work?
Airing is a different company. They deal with carbon emissions from the factories, and then they work with that carbon, and then they produce inks with that. While we are looking at tire pyrolysis-based factories, and then we work with those factories specifically, and then take the carbon, and then work with those carbon from there, and then build tiles with that.
Do you need clarification, Shloka? You all right? You're all right.
No, that's great.
Okay,
that's
you're great.
Thank you.
Who next? We have another minute left. One more question would do. Yes, Andrea.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just a little bit curious. So you are working with pyrolysis, and is there any specification on the carbon that you will need to require in order to have it as an upstream, or any bottom of pyrolysis will do?
That's actually what we are looking at. So there are more than 1,500 pyrolysis-based factories. We are looking at specifically tire pyrolysis-based factories. So with that, what we mean is these are carbon-rich. And what's happening with these carbon-rich elements is it goes into a landfill, or it is used by a cement factory, and then it's burnt over there, and that's where it goes into the air. It pollutes. We can use this rather to use as a pigment or a color, and then use it into a tile as well as a base material. So all the color that you see is as a performance base as well, while it is in the tile as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much.